In developed countries, over 24% of chronic kidney disease cases are related to diet. Eating poorly increases the risk of kidney problems. Around 1 in 7 American adults has chronic kidney disease, CKD, which is among the top 10 causes of death in the U.S. Many people with CKD don't realize they have it, making it vital to care for your kidneys even if you feel healthy. Unfortunately, there's a lot of false information online about the right foods for kidney health. Some people wrongly think the usual diet and a kidney-friendly diet are the same, leading them to avoid nutritious foods that are actually good for their kidneys. Today, we'll reveal 3 powerful superfoods that help cleanse your kidneys. These foods are full of antioxidants, vitamins, minerals, and other nutrients that can prevent kidney stones, infections, tumors, and kidney failure. We'll also show you how to consume them for the best kidney benefits. Make sure to stay until the end for the most surprising superfood. I am sure the last one will surprise you. Before we begin, please note that the information we provide is verified by qualified professionals. Let's discuss the daily habits that can harm your kidneys. 3. Eggs. The key to supporting healthy kidney function is to ensure your kidneys work well, and eggs play an essential role in that. Eggs are nutrient-dense foods full of vitamins and minerals, such as vitamins A, D, E, K, folate, and zinc, which are beneficial for kidney health. These nutrients act as antioxidants and immune boosters, protecting your kidneys from damage caused by oxidative stress. Most kidney-friendly diets recommend eating high-quality proteins, and eggs are an affordable and accessible source. When you consume protein, your body breaks it down into amino acids, which are necessary for your body to function properly. Eggs score a perfect 1 on the Protein Digestibility Corrected Amino Acid Score, or PDCAAS, which means they provide all the amino acids your body needs and are easily digestible. Eggs also have a biological value of 100, meaning your body uses egg protein very efficiently. They contain all 9 essential amino acids, like leucine, which your body cannot produce on its own. Although some people believe that egg whites contain all the protein, the yolks actually contribute nearly half of it. Therefore, eating the yolks is important for a high-quality protein intake. Despite the benefits of egg yolks, the University of California advises choosing egg whites over whole eggs for kidney health. Let's explore why this is the case. First, egg yolks contain choline, which may worsen kidney disease when consumed in excess. Gut bacteria break down choline and produce trimethylamine N oxide, TNAO, a compound that can accelerate kidney disease progression. Higher TNAO levels have been linked to an increased risk of death in CKD patients. However, evidence on TNAO and kidney disease is unclear, so there is no definitive recommendation to avoid foods that produce TNAO. Additionally, individual responses to dietary intake of TNAO precursors like egg yolks vary, emphasizing the importance of understanding your own body and working with a healthcare professional. While choline is essential for cell function, including methylation and brain development, it becomes concerning for your kidneys only when consumed in large quantities. As a general rule, moderation is key. Experts suggest that egg whites might be a better option for people with CKD or those following a renal diet because this diet often restricts nutrients like phosphorus, which is found in higher amounts in egg yolks. Healthy kidneys can clear extra phosphorus from the blood, but if you have CKD, your kidneys may struggle, leading to harmful phosphorus levels in various organs. Excessive phosphorus can increase the risk of heart attack, stroke, or even death. However, you don't need to completely eliminate egg yolks from your diet, especially if you have healthy kidneys. Your kidneys can efficiently filter out excess phosphorus, so limiting phosphorus intake is only necessary for people with CKD. Egg yolks contain kidney-friendly vitamins like A, C, E, and K, as well as minerals like zinc, which are absent in egg whites. Additionally, vitamin D is crucial for kidney health, and egg yolks offer a small amount of it, 41 IU per yolk. Although this amount is minimal compared to daily needs of 600 to 800 IU, some research suggests that consuming whole eggs may be more effective than taking vitamin D supplements for safeguarding kidney health. Moreover, egg yolks are rich in phospholipids, which can raise HDL cholesterol, the good cholesterol, and benefit heart health. This counters the misconception that cholesterol from egg yolks is bad for your heart and kidneys. In fact, HDL cholesterol helps clear cholesterol from your cells. Eating eggs daily can improve the balance of HDL cholesterol in your body, supporting overall health. So, to maximize the benefits of eggs, consider consuming the yolks in moderation. Here are some tips for enjoying eggs while supporting kidney health. 1. Choose high-quality eggs. Opt for pasture-raised and organic eggs, which are considered healthier than caged and conventionally produced eggs. 2. Cook eggs thoroughly. Your body can use 91% of the protein in cooked eggs, significantly more than the 51% available in raw eggs. However, cooking eggs for long periods or at high temperatures can lead to nutrient loss, so avoid overcooking. 3. Limit salt and added calories. Excess salt and calories can burden your kidneys. Avoid frying eggs, which increases their fat content by 50%. Instead, enjoy boiled, poached, or scrambled eggs without added salt, using low-fat milk instead of cream. 4. Avoid microwaving eggs in their shells. This can cause eggs to explode due to pressure buildup. 5. Combine eggs with vegetables. Eating eggs with vegetables provides additional fiber and vitamins, boosting your kidney health. Next food on our list is broccoli. When it comes to vegetables for kidney health, many people think of kale, bok choy, or cabbage. However, broccoli is a powerhouse vegetable with significant benefits for kidney health. It's rich in kidney-friendly nutrients like fiber, vitamin C and K, and iron. One examined data from 12 studies with 1.2 million people and found that consuming more cruciferous vegetables like broccoli led to a 19% lower risk of kidney cancer overall, with a more pronounced 23% reduction in risk for Americans. Broccoli is packed with antioxidants, particularly sulforaphane, which plays a crucial role in protecting the kidneys from oxidative stress and inflammation. Sulforaphane not only acts as a powerful antioxidant, but also boosts the production of other antioxidants in the body. It enhances a protein called NRF2, which helps produce antioxidant enzymes that combat oxidative stress and inflammation. In a 2004 study published in the Journal of Nutrition, scientists found that mice with NRF2 had a 1.5-fold increase in detoxification enzymes when fed broccoli seeds, whereas mice without NRF2 did not show this increase. Another 2023 review in Life Sciences found that sulforaphane helps kidneys clear creatinine, a waste product, and reduces urea levels in the blood. Sulforaphane also lowers protein in urine and improves kidney scarring and damage. Eating broccoli regularly can lower the risk of kidney stones because it contains very little oxalate. Oxalate can bind with calcium in the kidneys and form stones, but the low oxalate content in broccoli helps prevent this. Replacing high oxalate vegetables like spinach and beets with broccoli can naturally reduce kidney stones. Sulforaphane in broccoli also helps reduce the buildup of calcium oxalate in mice with kidney damage, as found in a 2020 study. Broccoli is safe for people with kidney disease, even those with advanced CKD, as it's low in potassium, sodium, and phosphorus. The National Kidney Foundation recommends broccoli as a kidney-friendly food. Broccoli's family includes other low-oxalate, sulforaphane-rich veggies such as Brussels sprouts, celery, mustard greens, cabbage, cauliflower, kale, and kohlrabi. Among these, broccoli has the most sulforaphane, but broccoli sprouts contain even higher levels, around 100 times more than mature broccoli. Broccoli sprouts have stronger antioxidant activity than broccoli heads, so include sprouts in salads, sandwiches, soups, and smoothies for a crunchy and soothing effect. However, cooking broccoli can deactivate the enzyme needed to produce sulforaphane, but you can reactivate it by chopping broccoli at least 40 minutes before cooking. Adding a bit of mustard seed powder to cooked broccoli helps you absorb sulforaphane better. When choosing broccoli for kidney health, look for fresh, organic broccoli or options with integrated pest management (IPM) labels to minimize pesticide exposure. Broccoli should have deep green florets, tight buds, slender, firm stems, and rigid stalks. Avoid broccoli that appears yellowish or is beginning to bloom, as these may taste bitter and lack freshness. Pair broccoli with other healthy, kidney-friendly choices like garlic, olive oil, and herbs for an extra burst of flavor. Roasting or stir-frying them together can enhance the taste and make the meal more enjoyable. In summary, broccoli is an excellent choice for kidney health due to its rich antioxidant content, low oxalate levels, and kidney-friendly nutrients. Eating broccoli regularly, along with other low oxalate vegetables, can support your kidney health and help prevent kidney stones. Remember to incorporate broccoli sprouts for even greater benefits. 1. Avocado oil. Using avocado oil for kidney health might seem unconventional, but it's actually a smart choice for supporting kidney function. Our bodies need healthy fats as one of the three main nutrients, along with carbohydrates and proteins. The National Kidney Foundation recommends healthy oils and fats for various kidney conditions and treatments, including chronic kidney disease, CKD, kidney transplants, dialysis, and kidney stones. These fats provide essential fatty acids that our bodies can't produce on their own. They also regulate hormones, protect organs, and nourish cells. However, consuming unhealthy fats like trans fats can increase bad cholesterol levels, cause inflammation, and raise the risk of stroke, heart attack, and kidney failure. Therefore, choosing the right fats for kidney health is crucial. Avocado oil is high in monounsaturated fats, which are very healthy and can help lower LDL, bad cholesterol, while reducing inflammation. Specifically, avocado oil contains around 50 to 75% oleic acid, a beneficial monounsaturated omega-9 fatty acid that supports heart health. Additionally, its omega-6 content, which our bodies don't need much of, is relatively low. Avocado oil is also rich in antioxidants such as lutein, carotenoids, and vitamin E, which help combat free radicals and inflammation, protecting your kidneys. For instance, just 1 teaspoon, 15 ml, of avocado oil provides 20% of your daily value of vitamin E. A 2024 study found that diabetic rats fed a diet supplemented with avocado oil experienced less kidney damage. This suggests that avocado oil may help slow down kidney damage and regulate blood sugar levels in individuals with diabetes, a leading cause of kidney failure. In an earlier study, researchers explored how avocado oil and prazosin, a blood pressure-lowering drug, affected rats with high blood pressure. This research supports the idea that avocado oil may have potential benefits for managing kidney health. High blood pressure can lead to kidney issues, similar to diabetes. A study found that both avocado oil and prazosin, a blood pressure-lowering drug, provided comparable benefits, including lowering blood pressure, improving kidney blood vessel function, and reducing kidney damage. Only avocado oil was effective at lowering harmful free radicals. Animal studies suggest avocado oil might prevent and reverse kidney damage, although more human studies are needed.